The Padres and Yankees braved the elements in the Bronx. We had a major NL matchup between the Giants and the Cubs at Wrigley. There was a no-hit bid in Atlanta and extra innings in Sacramento. We're taking you all around Major League Baseball. It's MLB Game Night, every game, every night.
When that final out is made, you know it's time for Locked On MLB Game Night. All the post-game reactions to every game across the league, every single night, with insights only the hosts at Locked On can provide. Prepare to experience game day reactions like never before. Only on Locked On MLB Game Night. Your team every day.
Hey there, baseball fans. Welcome to MLB Game Night. I am JD Hafron, host of Locked On Cardinals. With me is my main man, Jon Frisch from Locked On Angels. Coming up on today's show, we've got a smaller schedule of games for Monday, also known, John, as Cinco de Mayo. What's your favorite dish to celebrate Cinco de Mayo, an occasion like this? What do you like to put in your mouth?
I like to pull out the big guns and go with some ceviche. It takes a little time to get ready, but it's worth it at the end of the day. So there you go. I had to educate JD on what ceviche was prior to the show. So you got to get yourself some ceviche.
I was like, what are you talking? What is that? What is that? I was thinking, nachos or something simple. Wife and I did shrimp and steak tacos tonight to celebrate. So
nice.
We're all fed. We're ready to go. We're going to start off in the Northeast where we had some rain tonight, John, that even postponed one of the games on the schedule. I do want to remind you that today's episode is being brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use that code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. So Northeast we go, Padres and the Yankees. All right, this was a big matchup that everybody was excited for around Major League Baseball. And of course, Mother Nature said, we're going to wait a little bit. We are not going to start this game on time. In fact, rain pushed back not only the start time, but also had a 28-minute delay in the fourth inning, which, just kept dragging things on. You had a team that wears pinstripes versus the pinstripes in the New York Yankees. So let's take you to what happened in this game, because the Yankees are up 3-0 after 7 innings, thanks in part to a 2-run home run by Trent Grisham. Hit that one off Nick Pivetta in the third inning. Grisham's 9th home run of the season. And this is notable, John, because he only had 9 all year last year. Okay. Yeah. So he's off to quite a good start for the Bronx Bombers. The Devin Williams experience takes another ugly turn for the Yankees as the Padres end up playing 4 in this 8th inning with 2 outs. And this was a big moment in the game because Fernando Tatis Jr. gets ejected. Manager Mike Shildt gets ejected for arguing balls and strikes with umpire Adrian Johnson. Do you believe in the whole, get ejected, pump the team up type of idea? Is that something that you believe in, John? You think that works?
I subscribe to that. I thought that they were just talking about how much fun they were having out there. If I could read their lips, it looked like, I'm having more fun than you. No, I'm having fun, right? Yeah, that's what it looked like to me, but I could be wrong. Look, I think firing up your dugout is the exact right way to go, especially after a game like this where you have the rain delays, you have the late start time. Mike Shildt goes out there and, man, he gave Adrian Johnson a piece of he gave him multiple pieces of his mind, because it was insanity. There was a Yankee fan in the background going, "Ho-ho!" like listening to the whole thing. And so I think it fired him up, man. And the proof is in the pudding with the 8th inning 4-run inning that they put up right after that.
Yeah, Mike Shildt was throwing everything. And I'm talking like pens. He threw his glasses. He was clearly not happy with what was going on. And both of us talked about this after we watched it, was that, it seemed kind of like, did Fernando Tatis, I know you can't argue balls and strikes, but it wasn't like he was all that animated. He kind of, after he struck out swinging, by the way, It's not like he got called out on the third strike. He struck out swinging, and he just kind of leaned back and said something to the umpire, Adrian Johnson, and, he got tossed. He got run. And at that point of the game, obviously, you're Mike Shildt. You're trying to protect your players, and you're a little upset that arguably your best player just got tossed from a game that you're still in striking distance with. So Devin Williams, we know he's had a tough time since joining the Yankees. He ends up loading the bases in the 8th inning. So after that happens, they call on Luke Weaver, who has taken over the closer role for the Yankees. He comes in with 2 outs and is trying to get that 4-out save, but it doesn't happen. The Padres are able to put some hits together. Machado doubles to drive in 2, Bogart singles to drive in 2, and then you got Robert Suarez coming in, and he's virtually unhittable when it's not pouring rain. And when the rain is still coming down in New York, Yankees can't put anything together, and the Padres end up running away with this one by the score of 4-3. Padres have now won 6 straight. Devin Williams' ERA, not good. It is now back over 10 at 10.03. What are you seeing from Devin Williams, John? And how scary is this for the Yankees when this was such a big acquisition?
Yeah, I just can't understand the fall off here, right? And you look at what he's been able to do with the Brewers, and you'd think that there would be somebody who, before giving him that huge contract could go, here's something that's a little iffy about Devin Williams. But look, everybody celebrated. The Yankee fans celebrated it. Like, everybody celebrated that move because, to shore up the back end of your bullpen like that. Look, Luke Weaver has been, pretty solid for the Yankees for quite some time now. So to have Devin Williams come in, you just think that shores everything up. But, at the end of the day, ERA back over 10. And the problem here is it wasted a really great start from Carlos Rodon, who, has been trying to find his way again. 6 2/3 innings pitched, 3 hits, just 1 walk, 5 Ks. And that's with the rain delay. Him and Pivetta stayed in the game, even though that 28-minute rain delay happened. His ERA is back below 3 for the season. So Rodon's turning things around. Devin Williams is going to have to find it at some point.
Yeah, that's when you can't trust the back end of your bullpen. It's kind of nerve-wracking because every single game you're like, are we going to be able to close this one out or not? Aaron Judge over 3 with a walk, saw his average plummet to 4.14. He's terrible, obviously. And Yankees have now lost 3 in a row, 5 of their last 7. Let's move on to the Reds at the Braves, where Braves starter A.J. Smith-Shawver had his bid for a no-hitter broken up really late in this game in the 8th inning. Like he was cruising right along, ended up giving up a leadoff single in the 8th inning by Santiago Espinal. It was the only hit of the game for the Cincinnati Reds. We got Jake from Locked On Braves who has more on this outstanding start by Smith-Shawver.
A.J. Smith-Shawver takes a no-hitter into the 8th inning, and the Atlanta Braves beat the Cincinnati Reds 4-0 on Monday night. Jake Mastriani here from Locked On Braves, and what a magnificent performance by the young kid in A.J. Smith-Shawver, who was nearly unhittable on this night, had a no-hitter through 7 innings, gave up 1 hit in the 8th inning, but still got a double play to get out of that inning to get through 8, the longest start of his career. And this is on the heels of what looked like his best performance as a professional. The start before that had to leave early in that start against the Rockies as he took one off the forearm. Wasn't sure if he was going to be able to pitch his next start, and he did, and it was the best that we've ever seen him once again. So great start for A.J. Smith-Shawver. If he can keep this up and reach that big ceiling that we all know he has, be a big boost for this Atlanta Braves rotation, which they need right now. The offense puts up a 4 spot in 3rd inning. That was all they needed. Matt Olson with a good night there, but the Atlanta Braves get the win behind A.J. Smith-Shawver. We'll talk more about this over on the postcast and Locked On Braves.
On the Cincinnati Reds side of things, there was a gruesome moment in the 3rd inning when rookie left fielder Tyler Callahan, he ended up slamming into the wall. He was going towards foul territory, and he ends up slamming into the wall in foul territory where the stands begin. He was trying to make a catch on a Matt Olson fly ball. Looked like he made the catch, and he hits the wall, ends up fracturing his arm. It was not good. I wouldn't recommend going to watch it over and over. Maybe look at it once and then turn your head. Right. But it was pretty gross. The arm goes limp in this situation, and the ball falls out of the glove. Olson circles the bases for a home run. Personally, I would have gave the kid the catch because it was a heck of an effort on that one. A tough injury for a guy playing in just his 4th MLB game, so we wish him a speedy recovery. But the Reds have now lost 3 in a row. They fall back to 500 on the year and are 4 games back of first place Chicago in the NL Central. But Jeff Carr from Locked On Reds is willing to give the offense a pass on this one.
Reds bats were completely silent on Monday night, but I kind of give him a pass in this series opening loss in Atlanta. What's up? This is Jeff Carr from the Locked On Reds podcast. And the reason I give them a pass is because in the third inning, Tyler Callahan made this amazing play, sprinting over, diving in, trying to make a catch on the left field line off the bat of Matt Olson. He catches the ball in his glove, hits the wall, breaks his arm, and the ball tumbles out of his glove. The umpires ruled that was fine, and Matt Olson got an inside the park home run on it. There was a runner on base, so that was 2 runs, a 2-run inside the park home run, because the dude broke his arm. Really? We can't be better than that? I mean, that would jar me if I were on the field. I mean, these guys are human beings. I give them a pass on this. It's a bummer because it definitely counts in the loss column, 4-0 loss, but overall, I give him a pass.
So a pass after an injury. John, you saw the play. What are your thoughts on this one? Catch or no catch?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta think about it this way. Like, you're still playing the game. I get it. Like, if they don't rule it a catch, man, and the fact is like you got to play on. And again, like, there are certain things that you can shut down the play for. This is one of those situations where, Jeff mentioned it, there's a human element to it. And I would even say that extends to the umpires in a sense. Like, oh my gosh, like, I just broke his arm. What do I call this? Does it count? Does it not count? So yeah, this one just good enough to write off if you're a Reds fan and just a baseball fan in general.
We had another big National League matchup that took place in Chicago at Wrigley Field between the Cubs and the Giants. Giants battling for first with the Padres and the Dodgers. Cubs obviously trying to stay in first place in the NL Central in this one. And the Cubs are able to take this one rather easily by a score of 9-2. Sam Ober, host of Locked On Cubs, some thoughts on the improvements of one Dansby Swanson in the lineup.
The offense was on Monday night at Wrigley Field. I'm Sam Ober from the Locked On Cubs podcast, and after a shutout loss on Sunday, boom, the Cubs bounced back again on Monday with 9 runs, taking care of the Giants by a score of 9-2. The big story in this game, though, for me, is Dansby Swanson. Since being moved down to the 8 hole before last week, he is now 12 for 26. Give him credit. Who knows? Did that spark him or not? We'll never know. But it's an awful big coincidence, isn't it? The week he gets moved down in the order, he looks really good. I thought his broken bat single in the 4th to give the Cubs a 4-2 lead was the biggest hit of the game today. And Dansby deserves full credit. We're going to talk about him and his resurgence on the show tonight. So check it out. Cubs win another ball game.
Yeah, the Cubs, 22-14 with the win. They're 4 games ahead of the Cincinnati Reds. Clearly the cream of the crop in the NL Central right now.
Are you doing okay? You doing okay over there with that, JD? Are you doing all right with that?
At this point, I have to accept it because the Cardinals on my side, as much as we despise the Cubs and it's such a huge rivalry, it is what it is, man. Yeah. The one team went out and got a guy by the name of Kyle Tucker. Another team tried to trade people away, and the guys wouldn't leave.
Right.
Right.
Get out.
So we know who's trying to compete for a championship this year at least, but it doesn't mean I have to like the Cubs. Anywho, Matthew Boyd, 6 innings pitched, 5 hits, 2 earned runs on the home run, 7 Ks. So Cubs continue to roll. You still a believer in the Giants and what they're doing out west?
Yeah, I think that they've got a good thing going on. I know that they're in the middle of a heated race, and I actually think that that's to their benefit because you got the Dodgers in front of them, the Padres right there with them, and the Diamondbacks not too far behind either. So competition breeds success more often than not. And so they're right there in the thick of it. Maybe Bob Melvin finally found a landing spot that he likes and can guide a team back to the playoffs in the San Francisco Giants.
Mariners and A's needed extra innings to settle their game. We're going to have the results of that one coming up next on MLB Game Night.
This episode is brought to you by our friends at Monarch Money. If you've ever checked your bank account and thought, where did all my money go? It's very easy for that to happen. Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money is going to come in and be your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. It's not just a budgeting app, it's a complete financial command center. Track all of your accounts, investments, and spending in one place so you can stop managing your money and start building wealth. Conversations with your partner are easier than ever because you can track shared and personal accounts together, set goals, stay on the same page without the stress. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. Hey, they're already saving you money. 50% off. Let's go. That's monarchmoney.com. Code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year.
JD Hafron and Jon Frisch with you as we continue to take you around the league. We're going to head to Sacramento to see a battle in the AL West. A couple of teams that I know you're a huge fan of, John.
Right. You can get me back for that Cubs remark earlier. Yeah. Hey, my team didn't lose today.
And Mariners tattoos that I know you got. I won't ask you to do that, but it went to extra innings in this one, John. And you don't want to. I know it's early. But don't look now. The Mariners and the A's are first and second in the AL West right now. This was a pretty exciting ball game. I know, again, you being the Angels host and all that, it kind of burns you to have to watch this stuff. But the A's were able to take the early 2-0 lead. But the Mariners tagged Luis Severino for 4 runs in the top of the third. Back and forth game they went. They enter the 9th inning. They're tied at 5. Mason Miller, he's coming off that game against the Marlins where, he just was not himself, gives up the walk-off home run. 2 outs, 2 on via the walk. Big matchup between Miller and Cal Raleigh, the outstanding catcher for the Mariners who could change the game with one swing. And what does Miller end up doing, John?
Yeah, he's throwing 102s, 101s at Raleigh, and Cal Raleigh's fouling him off. And then what does he do? He goes from 102 fastball to a 87-mile-an-hour slider to get Cal Raleigh to swing right through it. So neither team scores in the 9th. So we go on to bonus baseball in Sacramento, and we've got Booney from Locked On A's here, who's got the breakdown of how all of this went down. Let's get to Booney right now.
Wilson, walk-off base hit to end this instant classic 7-6-11. The A's had every chance they could to get this win. They couldn't get it done. They had, in the bottom of the 10th, they had bases loaded, no outs. Munoz struck out the side. It was a back-and-forth affair. Mariners 4-2, A's 4-4. It went all over the place. This game was absolutely wild, man. Absolutely wild. Oh, man. I thought we were going to blow this game. Jesus, what a win. We needed this one, man. The A's fans needed this one. I'm having a hard time explaining the game and all that good stuff. Oh. 7-6 A's final in 11, man. Jacob Wilson, walk-off single up the middle. I'll catch up with you later.
What is Booney going to do if or when the A's make the playoffs? Like we're talking about games in the beginning of May here, and this is the reactions we're getting from Booney. I keep a pacemaker around this guy if they ever do end up making it to the playoffs. But obviously a very exciting game. That 11th inning, the Mariners, as you mentioned, loaded the bases intentionally for Jacob Wilson, who was hitting a pretty good with runners in scoring position, wasn't he, John?
Yeah, 438 JD with runners in scoring position. Maybe not a good idea because he drives one up the middle for the walk-off hit, and that's how the A's got it done in Sacramento over the Mariners 7-6 in 11 innings.
Yeah, very interesting thought process there to load him up for somebody who's hitting that well with runners in scoring position and had already tied the game with a hit earlier in extra innings. So A's pull that one out. On to the Astros and the Brewers. Now, before the game, we got word that Yordon Alvarez was going to go on the injured list with right hand inflammation. So obviously that's a big blow to this Astros lineup. He missed the final 2 games of Houston series against the White Sox with this hand ailment. He was in the Astros original lineup on Saturday, but got scratched after he felt some discomfort while he was hitting in the batting cage. And although he reportedly did feel better, according to their manager, Joe Espada, the team placed him on the IL so he can, quote, get right. So how did things go down in this one? Well, let's check in with Chuck from Locked On Brewers and his thoughts on Brewers starter Tobias Myers.
All eyes were on Tobias Myers. How would he do after a short stint in his last outing? Hi, everybody. Chuck Freeman, Instant Reaction, Locked On Brewers. Myers in his last outing. He was pulled after 2 innings because of ineffectiveness. Manager Pat Murphy had seen enough. He was walking guys. Murph did not think that Myers had much of a game plan going in, and he got tired of watching it. So what happened tonight? Well, Tobias pitched into the 6th inning. He had to leave the game. He ran into some problems in the 6th inning. Nick Mears got him out of a bases-loaded jam, and he goes 5 1/3, gives up 1 run. Nice bounce back for Tobias Myers, making only his 3rd start of the season. Brewers offense not great, but the story of the night, Tobias Myers getting by 2 innings and going into the 6th inning and then turning it over to the bullpen, and the Brewers taking the opener against the Astros. Talk about all this coming up tonight, a little bit later on Locked On Brewers. Please subscribe.
On the other side of things, you've got Brett from Locked On Astros and his thoughts on what went wrong with the Houston game plan in this one.
Well, boys and girls, that's how you lose a game 1 to the Milwaukee Brewers, where you don't really play that well anyways. Hello, Mason House here with Locked On Astros. And Yordon Alvarez earlier today went back to Houston with hand soreness, and he's getting imaging on his hand. He's officially on the IL. So is the entire offense. 9 hits and 1 run. You're not going to get much done. Ronel Blanco only gave up 3 runs in this, had another really good performance. They gave up 2 runs late. The score was 5-1. This Astros offense, if they don't get off the tarmac and they don't start scoring soon, they're going to find themselves in a hole, maybe not like 2024, but somewhere close to it. So they've got to figure it out on the offensive side. The pitchers are continuing to deal, but they can only hold the line so long. Look, Eric and I will have the latest for you this week. Stay tuned in the Locked On Astros. Remember, we're your team every day, and regardless of the loss, I'm always positive, always Stros.
We're going to go out west once again. The New York Mets were visiting the Arizona Diamondbacks, and the Diamondbacks are, they want to gain some ground in this NL West, and they've got a tough opponent in the first place, New York Mets, who I don't want to say reeling a little bit after losing both games of the doubleheader against my St. Louis Cardinals on Sunday, but the Mets aren't used to losing right now, and the idea of losing 3 in a row probably a little bit shocking to Mets fans. Let's go to Chris of the Locked On Mets postcast with how the Mets were able to avoid this 3-game losing streak by winning in Arizona.
Going gets tough, you turn to your superstars to get things back on track, and that's exactly what the Mets did tonight. Chris Schubert, host of the Locked On Mets postcast, here with you after the Mets just got done beating the Diamondbacks 5-4 in the opener of their series. They came into tonight losers of 4 of their last 5, a pair of 1-run losses in a doubleheader yesterday. The injuries starting to stack up and the threat of their first 3-game losing streak of the season. And it was those superstars that came through. Pete Alonso with a big home run. He continues to hitting nearly 350 so far this season. Francisco Lindor making a play at the plate with a 3-run home run, but also making a key play in the field, helping catch Alec Thomas stealing in the 9th inning. They hold on to beat the Diamondbacks 5-4, be one of the last 2 teams in Major League Baseball without a 3-game losing streak. They will now look to start a winning streak tomorrow with David Peterson on the mound.
Mets moved to 23-13 on the season. Diamondbacks fall to 18-17. Freddie Freeman hit a major milestone in his career as the Dodgers head down to Miami to take on the Marlins. We'll talk about that coming up next on MLB Game Night. There's nothing better than catching an MLB game live. You got the crack of the bat. You've got the roar of the crowd. Of course, the smell of ballpark food. So good. And if you're looking to go last minute, Game Time. Game Time. That's where you go. They make getting tickets easier than ever with last-minute deals, all-in pricing, and the lowest price guarantee. Game Time genuinely takes the stress out of buying MLB tickets. And if you didn't know this, ticket prices, they actually drop as the game time gets closer, meaning you can score incredible deals to go see all your favorite teams. Game Time is the official ticketing partner of Locked On, and as the regular season continues, as we go through the month of May, you can count on them to grab the tickets that you need to meet your personal needs. They've got all kinds of different specials that they run. Game Time Picks feature, which is something that I utilize whenever I can. It makes finding the best deals effortless. It filters out all the fluff, and it's just going to highlight the top discounts in the stadium that I'm going to have interests in. All right. It's going to get rid of all the other ones that you're like, oh my gosh, look at how many of them are available. No, because most of those you're not going to be interested in. So it takes out all that fluff, and you get a chance to see your seat before you buy. You can actually preview the exact seat before you make the purchase. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download that Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem the code LOCKEDONMLB. That's LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. JD Hafron and Jon Frisch with you as we continue to take you around the league. We head to Miami next, where the Dodgers were visiting the Marlins, and Sandy Alcantara gets a rematch against the Dodgers in this one, John, from last week in LA. Now, his last time out, things were not good, were they?
No, 2 2/3 innings pitched, 7 hits, 7 earnings, 5 walks, and 2 Ks. So, did Sandy get what he wanted in the rematch with Miami today? Well, let's go to Jeremiah Geiger for more from Locked On Marlins for Sandy Alcantara's performance.
Can someone tell Sandy Alcantara that you shouldn't throw fastballs down the middle to Freddie Freeman and Shohei Ohtani specifically? It's Jeremiah Geiger from the Locked On Marlins podcast. And the Marlins lose to the Dodgers again. They've given up 7 runs, at least, in the first 4 games that they've played. This time it's in Miami. Sandy Alcantara got another crack at the Dodgers. And at first it was okay. And then 2 really bad pitches and 2 home runs later, the Dodgers are up 5-0. And Sandy gets chased from the game with giving up 5 runs. Another bad start. You look at those pitches right down the middle. You can't do that to the Dodgers. They're too darn good. And you're going to pay for it. You're a veteran. You have to do better, Sandy. You get the White Sox this weekend, so that's something. But either way, the story of the game was the Dodgers offense. They continue to outslug Miami. They've put up 41 runs in total. The Marlins will try again tomorrow against this super team.
Yeah, Sandy Alcantara coming back from injury this spring. There were rave reviews of how good he looked, and things just have not worked out so far here during the regular season. Freddie Freeman hit his 41st career home run against the Marlins, 350 in his career. Jeff Snyder has the winning side of things from the Dodgers, including some discussion about an impactful debut for the team.
Well, the Dodgers are 1-0 in the Hye-Sung Kim as a starter era, if that's a thing. And he played a big part in it. What's up? This is Jeff Snyder from Locked On Dodgers. The Dodgers win 7-4 over the Marlins. It wasn't even that close. Yoendrys Gomez came in and tried to make it close because that's what Yoendrys Gomez does on the mound. But Hye-Sung Kim had his first 2 career hits, scored his first run, drove in his first run. Good game for him. He'll probably get some more starts. We know Mookie Betts has the day off on Tuesday, and Teoscar Hernandez left this game with an injury. Unfortunately, we don't know how bad it is. We'll see, but may get Kim more playing time, whether the Dodgers like it or not, but I think they'll like it. Looks like he's good. On the pitching side, Ben Casparius took the bulk of the game, and everyone except for Gomez pitched well. 1 run in 8 2/3 for everybody not named Yoendrys Gomez, which is the theme against the Marlins this year. Sure, check out Locked On Dodgers later tonight or first thing in the morning, every weekday morning on YouTube or wherever you get podcasts.
We're going to head to St. Louis now, where the Pittsburgh Pirates were visiting my St. Louis Cardinals. Cardinals looking for their 3rd straight win as they try to creep back up to the 500 mark. And there was a play in this one, John, and ONeal Cruz, obviously one of the more gifted athletes in the league.
Yeah.
He's out in center field now. He's had his issues out there, but one thing that has not changed is the fact that he has got a cannon for an arm. in center field, and he unleashed one tonight, didn't he?
Yeah, he threw home to 100 miles an hour through home to Joey Bart, and it was an outfield assist to get Victor Scott the second out at home. JD, was he out?
I'm not going to say the expletive that I want to say, but no, he was not out. There is so much proof that he actually got his hand in on this particular play. He slid head first, got his hand in underneath the tag. They're zoomed in. They replayed it because the Cardinals challenged, and the umpire still said, "Nope, it's fine. He's still out." And Cardinal fans were flabbergasted at this point. Lucky for them, it wasn't something that came back to actually bite the Cardinals. Right. They were able to take this one by a score of 6-3. Did a lot of long ball in this one. Jose Barrero just joined the team last week. He went 2 for 4, hit his first home run as a Cardinal, gets a double as well, 3 RBIs. Wilson Contreras hit his 5th home run. Alec Burleson has home runs in back-to-back games for the Cardinals. Pittsburgh has now lost 5 in a row and will try to stop the skid with Paul Skeens on the mound on Tuesday night. Now we're going to go to the White Sox and the Royals. Cole Ragans makes his return to the mound after exiting his start early on April the 24th. And the Royals were able to play a little bit of small ball to get things done, weren't they, John?
Yeah, absolutely. And small ball, my favorite kind of brand of baseball. You know, Maikel Garcia singling Bobby Witt from second after a single and a walk. Isbell bunts to get on. Jonathan India singles. Witt doubles to score Isbell. And then later on in the 8th, Maikel Garcia takes the walk, steals second, a flyout moves him to third, and Witt doubles him in. All it took was 3 runs behind Cole Ragans. But the fact is that the White Sox were shut out. Their 5th shutout in 10 games the Royals put up in this one. Jack Johnson over at Locked On Royals has the scoop for us. He's going to tell us how this one went down.
The Royals tossed their 5th shutout in their last 10 games tonight as they take down the Chicago White Sox 3-0. I'm the host of Locked On Royals, Jack Johnson, giving you a quick breakdown of this game. Now, I was out there, which is why we recorded the episode a little bit earlier tonight, and it was just another phenomenal night for the pitching staff. Ragans was back on the bump. My main takeaway is I'm not overly concerned with the high pitch count. I mean, when you strike out 11, you're always going to have a high pitch count, but I did think the White Sox hitters did a good job of fouling off a lot of pitches. I want to say they had 20 plus. But he had the stuff to get through 5 tonight, and anytime you have 11 strikeouts, you're going to feel pretty damn good about that outing. And as for the bullpen, Ursig likely wasn't available tonight, so you rely on some of the lower leverage guys like Steven Cruz, Daniel Lynch got the 8th inning, and Carlos Estevez did his job in the 9th. Had the chance in the locker room after the game to talk to Maikel Garcia and both Cole Ragans in a media scrum. My favorite quote of the night was asking Maikel Garcia if this is the most locked in he's ever been. And he said, yep, that he's never felt like this before in his career. And he certainly has been one of the main forces in this 12-2 stretch over the last 14 games.
All right. Kind of easy to win when the other team's not scoring runs. So, yeah, that Royals pitching staff, pretty darn good right now. I mentioned that we had some rain on the East Coast, and that is something that postponed the Guardians and Nationals game. They're going to play 2 on Tuesday with that first pitch for the first game at 3:35 Eastern time. So be on the lookout for those, and we'll cover that tomorrow. Thank you guys for joining us for this episode of MLB Game Night. We hope you'll come back and visit us next time right here on MLB Game Night. Every game, every night.